for me, like the gold standard was always Apache.
Yeah. Word for sure.
And just listening to the way the percussion is on it and the way it breaks down, it's like, okay, this is the feeling that I get from b-boy. So I always look for records that kind of sounded a little bit like Apache.
Yep.
Word.
And then just like with the evolution of hip-hop music, you know, so many different sounds were brought in. And that's when I DJ, I always play some Latin funk stuff. I'll play some Afro funk. I'll play some breaks. I'll play some rock breaks. I'll play some Latin break, whatever. It just always mix it up.
Episode 5. I can't believe it. The 5th episode. I'm Ippy and this is Justroc.
Yo, welcome back.
Thanks, and this is the show where we do a deep dive into the mindset of what it's like in some of the top breaking battles, ciphers, and sessions. Today, we've got a bit of a different episode. Our guest is DJ Timber from the Mighty Zulu Kings, from Bad Taste Crew, and today we plan to do something different, which is have a chat to Timber about his recent YouTube video, BPM Explained for B-Boys, B-Girls, and DJs. Justin, you excited for this?
For sure. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys know Timber is like one of a teacher of mine, a mentor, a big brother, a crewmate even. Like, so, you know, for him to be on this show and to talk about something, I feel like it's very important in the scene, especially because this video only released like 2 weeks ago, and it's really trending around our circles. People are talking about it, people are sharing it. So I feel like we wanted to just kind of like get into the mindset of what Timber was thinking behind the video. Like, why does he think it was a need to release it? What was the reason to release it? And what was he hoping to achieve by releasing this video? So I'm really interested to hear about what he has to say, to be honest. How about you?
Yeah, I agree. I'm like interested to hear exactly what you said. Like, what was the catalyst that, you know, and like him like wanting to create this, but also like, you know, watching the video there is this like real attention to tempo and to music, and I'm just interested to hear what Timber has to say about that, because he's just such a leader in pushing you know, and in DJing and like understanding music on that theoretical level. So I feel like we're going to learn a lot from just chatting to him and pushing his brain about this video, but maybe about his broader philosophies about music and breaking and DJing. So yeah, I'm excited to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Okay, cool. Let's get into it.
What's going on, fellas? I'm all right. Chilling.
That's cool.
Enjoying the sunshine. Let me.
But you are in Toronto. You are in Toronto, right?
Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Nice.
Home with the Raptors.
How are the Raptors doing?
They're. I'm sure they're doing fine now. They've been kicked out of the playoffs. But they were doing grand, and then they lost to Boston, which sucks. But I think Boston.
Was it the semi-final or the final of the conference?
It was Eastern Conference semifinals.
Oh, semifinals.
Yeah.
Word.
Which is the NBA quarterfinal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I made the video because I think it's something that's been. How to put this? So the video came about because I kind of got sick and tired of hearing people using subjective words to describe objective things.
Okay.
Interesting.
So people talking about the music's too slow, the music's not fast enough, the music's too fast, the music's too slow. But they would say it not to describe the tempo of the music, but what they perceive to be the energy of the music.
Yeah.
Word.
So you could play a song at 110 BPM that to them sounds hype.
Word.
And they'll be happy with it. But then you can play something at 120 BPM that maybe doesn't sound so hype to them, and then they'll say it's slow.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel that this word slow has been, I guess people have misportrayed it a little bit in the scene. And really, if you don't DJ and you don't study music, you're probably not going to know too much about what BPM is. Like, we all know that music can be fast or slow or in the middle.
Yeah.
but really, what does fast or slow mean? Because if you're comparing it to techno, it's all slow. But if you're comparing it to salsa music, it's all fast.
Right.
So what's slow to one person is fast to another person. And it's like, well, why don't we just break it down and show people with numbers rather than with descriptive words what the music is doing to the dance?
Right.
And I mean, I'm aware that I'm about 2 foot taller than your average b-boy. So I have a lot bigger of a body frame, so it takes me longer to get from point A to point B. So my personal sweet spot is maybe a little bit slower tempo of what it would be for someone short like Justin.
Right. That's interesting that you think, yeah. Sorry, I'm just interesting to think about the language aspect of it, the objective and subjective aspect. Yeah.
So that was my whole thing, is I really wanted to clear it all up.
Yeah.
And give people a visual of what what happens when you speed up the music and what happens when you slow it down.
Yeah.
And you can see, like, in the slower bits, when it's like 95 or 97, 102, 105, I can move slower or I can move faster with the music. But to move faster, I have to break up the movements.
Yeah, right. You can't get all the kind of groove of that actual kind of basic.
And I feel like in the slower BPM, you can add more of your own character into it, like a little bit of extra movement in between the step, and you can really see you feeling it more than when you're trying to almost like chasing the music a little bit later on.
Yeah, because the thing is, once it goes to 120, 122, 125, then I only have one speed at which I can top rock at, which is fast.
Word.
And then once it goes up to 130, it's like, I'm really not fit enough for this.
It's interesting that you use this step as the marker, because I know maybe for you this is like your basic top rock step, but there's many different basic top rock steps, and some of them go to different speeds better than others. I think of like a lot of the top rock steps that I'm playing with at the moment. They probably even work better to an even slower range of BPM. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I guess it depends on like the framework of how you're judging, like, and of course, like you said before, like some salsa dancers, I imagine like really old school b-boys who came from like a more Latino background, who were doing quite quick kind of steps as their basic kind of breaking top rock steps. They might have preferred a faster BPM. Based on the steps that they were doing. I'm not sure if that's true, but it's interesting. I guess it's a hard place to go, this is a basic step in breaking, and this is a good BPM for that, and make it as objective as you can when we're working with quite a dance that has got many different influences. It's got many different like styles. It's constantly changing as well, like with new dance kind of steps becoming foundational when they weren't maybe in the 80s, because some people are telling us that they're foundational. It's like, I guess it's hard with a dance that is so like kind of like evolving and shifting to kind of talk about like objective kind of truths about like what works and what doesn't. But I really like how clear your video is at trying to tackle like this step with your body to this music, and it's
he's back. He's back.
Oh, sorry. Did I go away?
you froze for like.
You did the ultimate freeze, Ippy.
Sorry, guys. I think my internet.
Game over.
Okay, sorry. I don't know what you heard. I was just rambling. But anyway, what I was saying was I really like your video in terms of like trying to explain really clear, like giving a kind of starting point, which you never hear DJs talk about, like a starting point for like, this is a step that breakers do. It is seen as like a basic step by many. And here's a BPM it works to really well, and here's why it doesn't work on these like fringe like parts of the beat. And that's like, that clarity is really missing. That discussion is missing about music, I think, by dancers, but by breakers particularly. So yeah, it's really cool for you to like venture into this space, because I feel like I have a lot of thoughts about it, and I'm sure Justin does too, about like
was it kind of an intention for you to use it kind of more like an educational purpose, Timber, at the beginning, to educate people more about the awareness of this?
I mean, it's something I've talked to a lot of DJs about, and a lot of them have agreed with me.
Yeah.
I just wanted to show it clearly.
Yeah.
Because I just don't think it had been done before.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that's necessary. And I mean, I never wanted to be the grumpy old guy.
Yeah.
Because when I started breaking, there was loads of them.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's
there's
still
still
young kids
There's
are
still-
rubbish.
there's- There still is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are those people
I-
now. Yeah.
I like, yeah, I always believe like if you see something wrong and you don't do something to try and correct it, then you're just adding to the problem.
Yeah.
For sure.
And well, having said that, I wanted to make this video for, I think since 2008 or 9.
Wow.
That's interesting because I
So
think we've
it-
had conversations where we've been to certain events with you and we've had a discussion
Yeah.
like IBE or something. I can
I'm
remember.
pretty sure we have, especially because we've been to so many events that you spin at, and we've always enjoyed your music. Like for example, RF Jam, the Cypher
Yeah.
Breaks is always what we look forward to the most because
Mhm.
you're always on there playing. And I mean, in terms of your personal experience of playing in these big events over the years, was there any particular events that maybe you played and you felt like, yo, like it doesn't feel right when they are only using all these fast breaks, and you kind of wanted to make a statement by
Right.
by,
Have you been
like,
criticized at some jams for not playing it
Yeah,
enough
but-
or that sort of stuff?
yeah, like is that one of the
So that's a very leading question there, Justin. I mean, it's happened to me a few times where people have been like, speed up the music or, and honestly, like, I don't really care. Like, I know what I do and I've done my research behind it. I know what I believe in, and it's stuff that I've practiced. And I mean, I really had to relearn breaking maybe, I don't know, like 10 or 12 years ago when I started realizing that, you know, I wasn't actually dancing on beat. I was just hitting beats.
Right.
word?
Can you explain
And then
that a
I
bit? 'Cause
started-
I know that's in your video, the difference of hitting a beat and dancing on beat, but I just wanted to hear how you understand that difference.
So basically for me, it's like if you start hitting out with your right foot on the 2,
Yep.
and left foot on the 4,
Yeah.
and then you're hitting out with your right foot on the 1 instead of the 2,
Right.
then you've lost timing.
Right. Yeah.
And
You're not on the
I-
same. You mean consistent rhythm?
Yeah, I think
yeah.
I think where this gets confused in b-boying is you don't dance with someone else in b-boying. You're just on your own, so you can just do whatever the
Yeah.
hell you want.
Yeah.
But if you go to a salsa club and you start doing 1, and then then the next beat is on the 2,
Yeah.
then your partner's like, what are you doing?
So is it
Like,
really
what-
bad to break that rule in breaking if you aren't partner dancing because you would have that flexibility?
Well, this is something I questioned at first, and then I came to the conclusion that the answer is yes, it is really bad.
Why do you think? Yeah.
Because the music is the one that's guiding you. You don't, you come after the music. The music is first, the music is there, and then you adapt to it. It doesn't adapt to you.
Right.
Word.
I
And,
guess I view the music as something I play with rather than that is directing me. Like I
but
can
it's-
because I like even doing this. I like hitting a few beats and then
The
pausing
in between beats.
and
The in
pausing for
between
like
beats.
a long time and then coming back because it's like I'm being more playful. You know what I mean? I'm not just hitting the same rhythm. I'm playing with a rhythm, and to play with different rhythms
Yeah.
mean that you break those codes like all the time.
But you can still play with those rhythms
Yeah.
and stay on beat.
Word.
There was one bit in the video, I think it was somewhere around like 112
Yeah.
or 115, where I purposely hit, see if we can find it. I don't exactly remember where it was, but I went off beat to come back on beat.
Right.
I think it's the one.
Ippy, you can maybe
Is this
play
one?
a few,
I'm playing
play a
it,
little
yeah.
bit
I am.
with the sound as well,
Oh, okay.
so we can kind of see the.
Yeah.
I think I remember which part it is that you kind of like.
Or it's the one after this that happens.
I think I know which beat that was.
Yeah. This one.
Yeah. Yeah.
That looks like all one
You see,
thing.
I rejoined back on the 2.
Oh, right.
Right.
Okay, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But do you think it's also to do with the structure of some of the breaks too? Because some of the breaks is not as, like as obvious as the other breaks. Sometimes you have to kind of go off it and then come back on it, like what you were saying.
No, I think the music it stays pretty much the same.
Yeah. But there are, I guess, there's layers of different sorts of sounds and rhythms that breakers are also listening to, rather than just like the beat.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I get it. It's a lot easier to just go off beat, but keep hitting beats, and maybe you start hitting out in the 2, and then you change that to the 1, and then that goes on to the 3
Yeah.
as you're dancing. But the more I watch b-boys who do that,
Yep.
it's like the less fluid their dance is.
That's interesting.
Because it doesn't all fit together like this.
Yeah.
So instead of going in like this, they're not going in like this.
Yeah.
Word.
Like the fingers are still interlocked, but they're not here.
Yeah, like they're
Not
hitting,
not perfectly like.
yeah, they're hitting
Yeah.
things, but it doesn't have that. I feel like there's an aesthetic, and this goes back again to maybe questioning the subjective objective dynamic, like dichotomy you were bringing up. But like, there's something aesthetic that is pleasing to you with certain dance and with certain rhythms when it's done, like you said, like this.
Yeah,
which is a
yeah.
subjective. I think a subjective way of looking at what you think is aesthetically pleasing, both with music and dance. But yeah, I think what I like about breaking, and this is not something I follow, but like where people, because like you said, the rules they can be so pushed against. When someone is doing something that's wrong, but they push it and push it and push it, sometimes it becomes right. It's almost like how breaking developed as a dance. It sort of like took a lot of stuff until it just like pushed so hard that it became this thing that people were like, oh, this is dope. This way of like using capoeira and using this and using like swing and using whatever. It becomes its own thing. And like to a lot of dance styles and to a lot of musicologists as well, breaking is like it's wrong in all these levels because it's it's doing salsa wrong, it's doing capoeira wrong, it's doing this wrong. But because it's new and because it's been codified in a certain way over years, it's become right for those who are like in that world.
Yeah.
And so I guess what I'm pushing at is like, I really like how the language you're using to describe it, but I'm not sure like, I guess I don't want people to keep following some really strict set of rules for breaking. I want them to push it because that's sort of the foundation of our culture, of our dance in some ways. Yeah.
Well, I think on the other side of that, it's like teaching people how to windmill wrong, and then they gotta really mess up back.
Yeah, okay. But I'm not sure
Like
they're going to get hurt by doing this. I think they're just going to be creative. Yeah.
But I think visually, when you understand what it is when people dance on beat, and then you see people fooling around off beat but thinking they're on beat, you really I think it's one of these things. Once you're really conscious of it, it sticks out like a sore thumb.
But again, I think that's an aesthetic thing that you like. And I'm like, which is dope. Like we all have those.
Or are you trying to use? I guess maybe like for my point of view, because I'm really into the classic style of breaking, into the original style of breaking. So for me, when I see this video, I can feel like it's very useful for people to understand this formula, because I feel like it can develop their understanding of the breaking, right? But I guess what Ippy is saying is nowadays you can see people don't even fucking do top rock anymore. They just kind of go on the ground, blast like a head spin 90, and then that's it. So for them, it's almost like they don't even care about all this stuff. And it's sad, but at the same time, that's kind of how this scene has become now. There's so many different people.
My experience is this. Since I got a bit injured in my wrist, I've been doing lots of house, and I feel like house is really interesting because it's like often to a faster BPM. Right. A lot of the movements in house, I feel like they work well with breaking as well, like conceptually, like in terms of movement, in terms of like what works up the top is almost similar to what works down low. So I can transition some house steps that I can do on the top. I can actually do in footwork as well. And I can't say the same for a lot of breaking top rock steps because they're just like, they've often been done to like hip hop and like slower BPM, so they don't really work in footwork, which is very quick. And it's funny because I kind of like watching dudes who really look the same up top than they do down low. Like it's like a flowy kind of movement. So I've been dancing to lots of house music and breaking to that music, but it actually works sometimes better because the movement is similar, like in terms of up and down. And so I guess I think of the future of breaking, like it'd be cool if more people learn house and learn how to dance to a faster beat, like house kind of music, because it just pushes the dance in a different direction, not a better or worse direction, but just aesthetically different. And I guess I feel like that's what I'm thinking of, not just like a powerhead who doesn't care about music, but maybe who has different kind of steps. Because like these foundational steps they're always moving. Like foundation is always kind of changing depending on the influence, depending on who you speak to.
But I know a lot of people think that this limits the dance.
Yep.
But my argument is like once you actually understand what it is when you're breaking on beat, it gives you so much more to play with.
Right.
Because it's like you play an instrument, and people often say like when you dance, it's like you're doing your solo over the band.
Yeah.
But if you're in a band and you're playing off time, you're going to be out of the band very quickly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I like that.
And I'm not saying you have to hit every 2 and every 4, but you have to be conscious of this pattern in your dance.
Yeah. Okay.
Word. So by understanding this foundation, it will help you eventually to play with it more, and then you have a better understanding.
Yeah. I'm all for innovation, and I'm all for bringing new things in. But for me, there's always been a common root of the music that I've liked. And whether that means that I'm stuck in 1982, or I'm stuck in 1976, or I'm stuck in 1999, or I'm stuck in 2005, I don't really care. Like I know what it is that I like, and I know what it is that I like to break to, and I know why. So I just wanted to take the subjectiveness out of music. Because the other thing is like people get hyped from certain sounds, but for me is when I break, I would always get more hype from a different rhythm, rather than just the sound. And for me, like the gold standard was always Apache.
For sure.
And just listening to the way the percussion is on it and the way it breaks down, it's like, okay, this is the feeling that I get from b-boy. So I always look for records that kind of sounded a little bit like Apache.
Word.
And then just like with the evolution of hip-hop music, so many different sounds were brought in. And that's when I DJ, I always play some Latin funk stuff. I'll play some Afro funk. I'll play some breaks. I'll play some rock breaks. I'll play some Latin break, whatever. Just always mix it up and play some hip hop. Play with the tempos. Like I don't want to go to a breaking jam and only hear beats at 105 BPM the whole day, because that's going to be hella boring. Variety is the spice of life.
I agree.
But there is a cutoff point of when it stops becoming danceable if you want to dance on beat.
Word.
So like you can get away with playing like one track at 130 BPM, but I think the problem comes when it's more like everything is played at 130 BPM. And then
because in both ways that limits us too. Like sometimes when it is a DJ who only plays a certain speed, it's like shit. As a dancer, I feel like my tools for being creative are really limited, because I've got like some kind of like some steps that work to slow stuff. I got some steps that work to like where the BPM can't be heard that well because the tune is really crazy and you're trying to like hit that or the lyrics or something. And then there's other stuff that works when it's just quick. It's nice to have variety as a dancer, I feel.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it actually brings us to kind of the last point that I wanted to ask you. Is like, what were you hoping to achieve with this video? Like when you first released it, is there something in your mind that you had, maybe something that you wanted to achieve with it? Maybe in terms of educating people, or was it just for yourself, or like what was the thinking?
Honestly, I think what I wanted to achieve was probably mixtape sales.
Did it help? Did it help the sales?
Well, did it help the sales?
I think off the back of the video, I've sold 2 mixtapes. So not really, no. It's been an atomic failure. I've been very humbled by everyone's reaction to it, and I think it struck a chord with a lot of people. So that's been really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, from what Ippy was saying, like I feel like for me anyway, for someone who, I guess not just myself, people who teach a lot in the scene or try to explain to a lot of b-boys about the importance of music, stuff like that. For me, I see this as very useful as being something almost like what Blueprint was when Ness released it. It was something that is very easily explained for people to understand why is it that is important for b-boys to dance on beat, to dance to the music, to be able to understand how music works for b-boys. So for me, I'm even in the process of thinking whether I should translate this to Chinese, because I feel like out here in the scene, you go to practice and you see people blasting like mixtape like 130, 140 every single time, and there's no attention at all to the music. And I feel like this video, because it's so well made and so structured, and you break it down so clearly, it's definitely something that can be used as a tool to educate those that might find it useful, you know?
Thanks, man. That was a really cool
hearing. Thank you, Timber, man. That's really cool. For sure.
It's always good to see you too.
For sure, man.
Always bring a little smile to my heart. Wait, I'm gonna do Justin's bit. Like, subscribe, comment, and share.
That's Ippy's bit.
No, that's like, I feel like Justin should do that. Yeah, fuck yeah. Nice.
Press that like button, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And buy mixtapes. Buy some mixtapes.
Get some mixtape, yo. Make that sale from 2 to 3. Push that up.
We'll link your stuff in the description, Timber, and we'll put it on screen too, so people know where to get the latest mixtape, the Bandcamp link.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, it's been nice chatting to you. See you, Timber.
All right, take care, guys. Peace.
All the best.
Take care, man.
Peace.
All right.